It really feels like all these AI tools that can write and code and create incredible art just appeared out of nowhere. But the truth is, we're living in a moment that was dreamed up more than 70 years ago. So we're going to uncover the long, fascinating, and sometimes pretty bumpy road that actually got us here.
I mean, you've seen the headlines, right? Maybe you've even played around with them. These are tools that can write a poem on command, or paint a masterpiece from just a few words, or untangle a really messy knot of code. It honestly feels like magic, but it's not.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? How on earth did we go from a simple calculator that just does math to a creative partner? Well, it's a story with some incredible highs, some really frustrating lows, and one revolutionary breakthrough that honestly changed everything.
Okay, so let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. The whole journey starts not with silicon chips or fancy computers, but with a really powerful and kind of radical idea. Could a machine ever be made to think? The 1950s, that was really the cradle of AI. It all kicked off with Alan Turing asking this deep, philosophical question. How would we even know if a machine was thinking? And that spark was followed by some actual fire, when a computer program literally learned how to get better at checkers all on its own. It was a small step for sure, but it was proof that a machine could improve itself. And all these moments led to 1956, when the field finally got its name, giving everyone this shared, audacious goal to chase.
What's really wild about this quote is the sheer optimism. This is from the proposal for that famous Dartmouth Conference, and you can just feel how confident these pioneers were. They truly believed that intelligence wasn't some kind of unknowable magic. No, they thought it was a process that you could break down, describe, and ultimately build inside a machine. So the dream was there, but how do you actually do it? I mean, how do you teach a box of wires to learn? Well, it turns out the process is surprisingly relatable. Think about it like this. How would you teach a little kid the difference between a cat and a dog? You'd show them pictures, right? Point out the floppy ears, the whiskers. You'd say good job when they get it right and gently correct them when they mix it up. Well, training an AI model is kind of the same idea. You start with a massive data set. We're talking millions of pictures of cats and dogs. And then you have people who evaluate its guesses, constantly tweaking and tuning the model to help it get more and more accurate. And this whole process is incredibly methodical. It's not magic. It's a very deliberate 5-step cycle. And it all starts with the data. You've heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out, and it's absolutely true here. So quality is everything. Then you pick the right kind of model, the right architecture. The model gets trained, and then, this is crucial, it's validated against way more complex data to find its weak spots. And only after it's been stress tested with real-world scenarios is it ready to go. Every single step is about making that model smarter and more robust. So the early promise of AI was just enormous, but the reality, way, way harder. Progress wasn't just a straight line heading up. The field actually went through a period of serious struggle before its massive comeback. By the late 70s, the hype train had kind of run out of steam. Researchers had frankly promised the moon and hadn't delivered. These grand visions of thinking machines just slammed into the hard reality of the time. Computers just weren't powerful enough yet. So this disillusionment led to what everyone calls the AI winter, a deep freeze where the funding dried up and the whole field just fell out of fashion. But then the thaw began. It really kicked off with a huge public victory. IBM's Deep Blue beating the world chess champion. It was this huge symbolic moment. And after that, the pace just picked up like crazy. We got robots that could read emotions, AI started quietly shaping our lives on Facebook and Netflix, and then IBM's Watson destroyed the competition on Jeopardy! By the time Siri landed in all of our pockets, AI wasn't just back, it was suddenly everywhere. So what changed? Why did AI suddenly get so powerful? Well, the answer is a brilliant new kind of architecture that totally revolutionized how machines understand language. Okay, so this is the secret sauce, the transformer. It's a type of neural network, which is a system inspired by the human brain, and its big innovation was completely revolutionary. See, instead of processing text one word at a time, like an old film reel, it sees the entire picture at once. It looks at every single word in a sentence at the same time to grasp the full context and all the tiny relationships between them. And this really shows you the difference. Old AI models, they were like trying to read a long book one word at a time. And by the time you get to the last chapter, you've totally forgotten what happened in the first one. They would just lose the plot. Transformers, though, they can see the whole story at once. They know that the character you met on page 1 is the same one showing up on page 300, and they get that connection instantly. It's a total game changer.
And the magic that makes this possible is something called the self-attention mechanism. It's a great name for a really powerful idea. Think about being in a crowded, noisy room. Your brain just automatically focuses on the voice of the person you're talking to and kind of tunes out all the background chatter. Well, self-attention lets an AI do the same thing with words. It figures out which words are most important for understanding the meaning of every other word in the sentence, and it pays way more attention to them.
So, this revolution brings us right up to today. We now have AI that's incredibly capable, but it's really important that we understand exactly what kind of AI we actually have and what's still just science fiction. Okay, this slide is super important for clearing things up. All the AI that exists today, from Siri to ChatGPT, all of it is what we call artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. It is incredibly powerful, but it's designed for one specific task. The next level up, artificial general intelligence, or AGI, that's an AI with human-like reasoning that can learn pretty much anything. That is still completely theoretical. It does not exist. And as for artificial superintelligence, or ASI, that is still firmly in the world of sci-fi. So here we are. We've journeyed from simple calculators all the way to complex, creative partners. And the technology is moving faster than any of us ever imagined, which leaves us with one last massive question. Now that we've built these incredibly powerful tools, what are the most important problems we should ask them to solve? That right there is the great challenge and the incredible opportunity that lies ahead of us.